Hello, and welcome to Reddit Rewind, where we cover Reddit's most ridiculous stories. AITA for walking out on a double date my friend set up with him, his girlfriend, and a girl I had already rejected before. I feel like I need to say this for the post not to be removed. This is not about the date, about the relationship, or something I want a judgment on me walking out of there. Cast: me, 25 male; Joe, 26 male; Jane, 24 female. To give you a little background on this situation, I met Jane through Joe's girlfriend at her birthday party last year. At first, Jane was fun to talk to, but not even an hour later, Jane was really into me and tried really badly to hit on me during the party, which pretty much ruined my time there, as the feeling was not mutual in the slightest bit. Also, at the time, I was already with someone. So, the first impression I got from Jane was that she was clingy, annoying, and just wouldn't stop bothering me. Unfortunately for me, she became part of my larger friend group because she is part of Joe's girlfriend's friend group. That is a mouthful. Sheesh. And because me and Joe hang out a lot, I am also friends with his girlfriend. I pretty much run into her at a minimum of twice a month. So, first time Jane asked me out was a month after that party. I informed her I was with someone and not interested. She tried again 2 months later when I broke up with my then girlfriend. Again, I declined her advances and told her I was not interested. I got into a new relationship not long after, but unfortunately, she and I broke up about 2 months ago. Since then, as you might have anticipated, Jane has asked me out again. I said no again. Well, that brings us to this week. Everything has been opening up here, and Joe has been trying to fix me up with a friend of his girlfriend, and would not tell me who. He is well aware of me having rejected Jane multiple times and the fact that I am not interested in her. He knows this in detail. After a lot of what he calls convincing and I call whining, I had no interest in dating anytime soon. I relented and decided to agree on this double date idea of his. We agree on meeting at Joe's apartment, and lo and behold, Joe, his girlfriend, and Jane are occupying the dinner table, obviously intending for my date to be Jane. I honestly just got so goddamn angry that I couldn't even get a single word out, turned around, and left. I have been bombarded with texts and calls about how much of a douche I am and how terribly I hurt Jane, and so on. And I am just like, I literally rejected her 3 times. I am not interested in her. You know that. Your girlfriend knew that. Our entire friend group has a running joke about how obsessive Jane is, for freak's sake. So literally everyone knows it. So, am I the a-hole? Okay, well, after reading that story, I would have to say that this guy is not the a-hole. That's my personal opinion about it. And after reading a lot of the comments underneath this story, I would say that pretty much everyone was in agreement with this. It seems like basically this Jane girl couldn't take a hint, and his friend Joe and Joe's girlfriend are also kind of jerks for pushing this on him. He obviously wasn't interested in Jane, and yet they still kind of forced it. And yeah, that's not cool. So, in my opinion, not the a-hole. All right, so after reading the comments, I found a few that I thought were pertinent, so here they are. You've made your feelings more than clear to Jane and your friend as well. You had every right to leave, as you had already rejected her 3 times and she still set herself up for rejection number 4. You're not responsible for her hurt feelings at this point. Your friend should have known better than to blindside you with a date with someone he knows full well you have zero interest in. Though, if I might venture a guess, I'd say that the double date was 100% Jane's and your friend's girlfriend's idea, and your friend most likely just got pressured into convincing you to come. I agree with this commenter. Basically, this girl's a glutton for punishment. If she wants to get rejected a 4th time and already knows the outcome from the first 3 attempts, ROP is not responsible for her feeling hurt after being rejected a 4th time. So this guy, not the asshole, and he really shouldn't feel bad, and he should seriously consider his friendship with Joe and Joe's girlfriend. Now, as far as whether or not this was Jane and the girlfriend's idea, as opposed to whether or not Joe was involved with it, maybe they kind of dragged him in, convinced him, or maybe he was in on it fully. I don't know. Need more information to make a judgment call on that one. Oh, and the OP actually commented on this original comment saying, even so, he is one of my best friends. He shouldn't be screwing me over like that. Even if it was 100% their idea, I still blame Joe most. I'd have to agree with the OP on this. Even if the girlfriend and Jane were the ones who originally smithed up this plan or created this plan, Joe had to go in on it. He had to convince his friend to go on the double date. He was the messenger. So he had veto power the whole time. The fact that he went along with it, yeah, shows that he's just not a good friend. Yeah, OP has every right to blame Joe for this. Okay, and our next comment, NTA. Everyone else is the a-hole in this situation. If the roles were reversed and you were a woman and Jane was a man, I'm sure no one would be giving you a hard time right now. And another comment, agreed, NTA. This behavior is creepy and obsessive regardless of sex. And another comment along the same vein. Honestly, I think that even if OP was a woman, a lot of the same people would be giving them crap. Women get pressure to give men they're not interested in a chance all the time. This isn't a gendered issue, it's a some people refuse to take no for an answer issue. And again, another comment along the same vein. This was my thought as well. Reverse the genders and it's harassment. NTA. So their points here are basically, some people, they don't know how to take no for an answer. He's not the a-hole for sticking up for how he feels about it and not giving this girl the time of day because he made it very clear that he wasn't interested. Yeah, if the roles were reversed and ROP was the woman in the situation and Jane was the man, this would be considered pretty creepy, kind of harassy, or very harassy, and it would not fly at all. So no means no, people. I'm sorry if your feelings get hurt or it doesn't go the way you want it, but people can make up their minds. They like who they like, they're into who they're into, and if they're not into you, it's okay. There are plenty of other fish in the sea, plenty of other people you can date and go find. There's apps now, there's all these different possibilities to date. Please don't force yourself on anyone that's not interested. Just don't force yourself on anyone, period. Okay, and on to the next comment. You definitely made the right call by leaving. Jane is trying to force you into a relationship with her, and if you give her even the slightest implication that there may be a chance, she will continue pestering you with unwanted attention. She needed this very clear message that you are not interested in even entertaining the idea of dating her. Her feelings toward you do not entitle her to a shot with you if you aren't interested, and you already told her several times that you weren't. This is honestly really disgusting behavior on Joe and his GF's part, and they should be apologizing to you. And this comment is absolutely right. If you're not interested in someone and you've made it very clear, don't give them a crack in the door to put their foot in. Don't give them a finger because they'll take your hand. This is obviously a case where this person is obsessive, won't take no for an answer. They're forcing it and looking for any type of chance they can get. And once they get it, they will not let go. They will be relentless. So no, this OP did, in my opinion, everything right. His friends are jerks. Jane's a bit creepy and harassy. She needs to take no for an answer. That's that. And here's another comment basically reinstating the same thing. Right? It's so creepy of Jane, and friends that try to force you to spend time with someone that makes you feel uncomfortable are the worst. Yeah, that's what we said before. And here's another comment basically saying the same thing. NTA, your friend is the a-hole for not listening to you. Jane is so insistent and she sounds like she has a big crush on you, but honestly, if she doesn't get it after this, I'd feel very sorry for her because she's delusional. And while yes, you could have stayed for dinner, it could have also given the impression that you were okay with being the double date. And if you'd said, I'm staying here, but as everyone's friend, then you would have been called an a-hole for being so blunt about it. So NTA, maybe your friend is just being berated by his GF because she in turn is being berated by Jane. Yeah, so what this comment says is basically, it was a lose-lose situation. He shows up there, decides to stay for dinner, gives her the idea that she has a shot with him. So again, he has to deal with someone pestering him that he's not interested in, and it reinforces her behavior of being obsessive and harassy. So that's a lose situation. If he stays and says, okay, I'll stay here, but just as a friend, no, nothing is going to go further, he'll be called an a-hole for being so blunt about it. And if he does what he did, where he stands up, says a clear message, turns around and leaves, he again is an a-hole for being insensitive. So no matter what he does, he loses in that situation. It was a lose, lose, lose situation. And to be perfectly honest, the more I think about it, his friend Joe and the girlfriend, they're the biggest a-holes of all for putting him in that situation. They have the information and then they're putting OP in this really uncomfortable situation because Jane won't take no for an answer. It's horrible behavior on all other parties in this story. I feel sorry for OP and he did the right thing. And here's another comment. I just want to chime in to say that if the genders were reversed, we would be calling Jane a manipulative stalker. OP, please take some steps to protect yourself. She doesn't understand no, and this is genuinely a horrible escalation. She may turn the friend group against you in an effort to get her way. Please stay safe and take care of yourself. And totally NTA. Yeah, NTA again, everyone's agreeing to this. She is being a stalker. If the roles were reversed, it'd be even creepier, in quotes. And OP, do watch yourself because someone scorned who really doesn't want to listen to what other people want and wants their way will try to do crazy things or manipulative things or drastic things to get their way. So maybe she will try to turn your friends against you to try to help influence you and get her way so that you actually date her. Her already manipulating your friend and the girlfriend to set you up on this double date for the fourth rejection is an example of such. So yeah, be careful. And on to our last comment. I actually had something like this happen to me in high school. A guy I wasn't into at all, and in fact didn't know him socially just by sight, needed a date for prom. So his friends kept trying to set me up with him. I said no the first several times. And then they did this big thing of inviting me to lunch with them. I was a freshman, they were seniors, so, big deal at the time. And there he was again, waiting with flowers. I turned and walked away, shaking my head. They were hoping that the public place and so on would make me suddenly change my mind. Bear in mind, I was a 13 to 14-year-old girl, and they were 17 to 18-year-old boys and girls, mostly boys. They just didn't expect me, particularly as a bit of a social outcast, to have the stones to turn them down. So your friend and his girlfriend, etc., are acting like crappy teenagers. Yeah, another example of people not being able to take no for an answer and using social pressures of their friends around them, peer pressure, to convince them to do something that they don't want to do. I'm sorry this happened to this commenter. Stuff like this happens all the time. Just remember, don't do things you don't want to do just because you're getting socially pressured. It's usually not a good outcome. Good on this girl for having the stones to reject them in that awkward situation in public. So guys, that was our story for today. Now let me ask a question to you guys, the audience. What would you do if you were in an OP situation? How would you react? Please let us know in the comments down below. I'm genuinely interested in this. All right, well, that was our story for the day. Hope you guys liked it. Don't forget to like and subscribe because it really helps us out. Till next time.